Hey y'all, in my last upload, I gave you a little recap of Roger Penrose and his scientific take on retrocausality and being Mandela affected and retrocausality being a big thing in that world. I thought it was interesting. That he believes in one world and stuff like that, and doesn't believe in Schrodinger's cat experiment. And I would imagine if he and I were to talk, if that ever happened, he would disagree with my version of what retrocausality means and his version. His version probably deals with satellites and laser beams and microtubules and experiments to prove it, where I'm just talking about an experience that I witnessed with other people. We saw reality change retroactively. That's just, I don't know how else to put it, but definitely have seen it occur. So I wanted to share with you this video, which I thought was interesting. There's this guy named Lee. He's got a good bit of subscribers, and he's got a channel called Heaven Awaits. He will read, I guess people will email to him their stories, their NDEs, their experience about heaven. He will read their story. He narrates it, and I've enjoyed listening to a lot of NDE experiences and trying to draw my own conclusions about that. But what I found interesting on this one is, a lot of times when people predict the future, I don't normally talk about it. I don't know how many times I've heard the future predicted and just rolled my eyes because it just never happens. I mean, even I myself have been able to predict some things. When the events of 2020 started rolling around, I started to predict where it was going to go and lead to with great accuracy, just from common sense. I could see this is coming, that is coming. And in all honesty, I kind of overshot because they put the brakes on things and started pulling back. So I saw things going more extreme and further than what they took it, but they still took it. They took it a great direction. I mean, it was a pretty major push forward, but then they pulled back from what I originally thought they were going to do. One of the things you'll remember during that time is how dirty money seemed to be. Like paper money and coins were just so, everybody was a germaphobe, and you didn't even want to touch money because it was just, all this idea of money being so dirty. And also, in addition to that, there was these coin shortages. Like you'd go to the McDonald's, sorry, we can only take credit card, there's no coins, we just don't have enough coins. And it wasn't, one of the things that I was predicting was a paperless society. Paper, like all the money just getting dried up. And so that's not a hard prediction to make. And it hasn't happened yet. But in the last year, I've seen some sort of legislative thing, or the people, I wish I could link it to you. I don't have it. It's old. Somebody shared it. But these guys were just discussing the end of paper currency. And just like matter of fact in the open. And they were actually talking about shutting it down at close of business on a Friday so people wouldn't have time to really react to it. They'd be kind of locked into it. And the reason switching off of paper to digital is a big deal. One, there's this big stability question, but it's about freedom. It's about control. We live in a very controlled matrix. Everything here is so about control. Everybody wants to control everybody else. It's amazing the amount of control people put on each other, and controlling the money, completely digitizing it, makes for a great amount of control. They can, as we saw with the trucker rebellion, they can seize your funds, take away, penalize. They can, with the press of a button, they can wipe you out. Tremendous control. So anybody who subscribes to the digital system, and if that's your only means, you don't have any way to buy things or survive or exist without their digital system, they have just absolute control over you. It's like this or die. And this person here had a near-death experience. I'll give you the link if you want to listen to it. It's 20 minutes roughly. This person here, and granted, Lee is just narrating this, and he claims this is an email. I don't know Lee. He could be making the whole thing up. He even acknowledges that in his Q&A. I don't think he is. I think he's legit. He's just simply gets this email and has a little back and forth with this person who claims to have died and comes back with a certain amount of knowledge. Now, this thing was uploaded a year ago. So for this person to say that they saw in their near-death experience, which occurred in 2006, and her backstory is pretty riveting. You can listen. I'd listen to it. I recommend you check it out. But she says she was shown these things back in 2006, but I can't verify that. I mean, for all I know, she could see the end of a paper society last year just like I could, and just said that, this could be made up. I don't know. But the thing is, this person gives a lot of interesting predictions for the future based on that near-death experience in 2006. And one of the predictions is in 2024, which is just around the corner, that in 2024, paper money would be gone, completely wiped out. Everything would be digital, and that control would come in right along with it. That following that would be a like a social credit score, kind of like, I guess, China, but your political affiliations and all the crap that I'm sure that I've posted on the channel here, all that stuff would get pulled together in some digital representation of who I am, and whether or not I could survive and exist in society would be based on that score. There's other things that she saw further out, like in 20 you'd have to listen to it. There's a lot of remarkable events, like the division of the USA, uh, all the way out to 2075. So it's like attacks from China, stuff like that. So just wanted to share it. You can give me your 2 cents. What do you think is going to happen with the paper dollar and currency? Would you say that that's what's coming? Do you think this person is credible? Now, another interesting thing she said is why she chose this guy is because, like he said, why don't you go on like Jeff Mara's podcast or something like that, or any of these other popular guys, like these super big guys? And she says that they're scripted, that there's a lot of paid actors, or she said something like that. Like she doesn't want to be associated with them because they're not legit. So I thought that was funny because one of the things that I've picked apart on these broadcasts that have millions of subscribers or whatever is they seem to take a stance one way or the other on how they're going to present reality, and that being, the big difference between a New Age outlook versus a Christian outlook. That's the big difference. And I know a lot of people don't like the title New Age, but I don't know what else to call you. I mean, look, we know that in New Age there's 1,000 different variations of beliefs, and within Christianity there's 1,000 different variations of beliefs. So it's a hot mess. But the core two differences that you see out there is the New Age and the Christian, and some of these platforms tend to really stick with more of a New Age, and it gets complicated because there's a lot of New Age leaders that actually are presenting themselves as Christian. It gets blurred, it gets blended. It's a mess. It's all over the place. So how do you define whether or not something's Christian themed or New Age themed? I'll give you a simple definition. It all comes down to submission. I guess I'm getting off topic here, but if you're of the world where you say, I am God and I can do everything and I ain't bound down to no other God, there's no creator above me, I am it. Look at me, I am the stuff. I am sovereign. If you're in that camp, you're going to fall more in the New Age. This is my definition. You can disagree with it. If you are in the camp where you say, I am a created being, I was created by a loving God who is like all the authority, all the power, all the perfection, all everything, and I am submitting myself to that role. I am bowing down. I am dropping to the knee. I'm saying, my life belongs to you. I am not in control of everything. Then you're more of the Christian side. So those are the two separate, and we see that in the Mandela effect community, the two separate worlds of of Christian versus the submit. Maybe I should start saying it instead of Christian New Age. I should just call it submission versus non-submission. The submits versus the non-submits. That might be a better term. I will admit, for me, it was never a question about whether or not I was created. I always felt like I was created. I always felt like I needed to submit. I always felt like I needed help. I felt like my life had been saved many times, that there were helping angels or helping hands from God, that there was interaction. I don't feel like I have total control of the environment around me. I don't feel like I can manifest, even though there might be some truth to manifestation. I don't feel like I can just, you know, bewitch my way through this world. I need help. I need to appeal to a higher authority, that I'm just not going to get from point A to point B spiritually all on my own. That's a belief that I have. So I definitely fall in the submit environment. And I don't know if God, one criticism is, why would God create you to worship him? Why does this egotistical God need worship? And if you read the Bible, it does appear that he needs worship, but I don't believe, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe God needs our worship. He doesn't need anything. But there is something about worship that I find gratifying at a soul level. I mean, I've got a new dog. He turned 11 months old this weekend. And this dog, it's an Australian Shepherd. He loves to play fetch. I mean, that I've never seen a dog love fetch as much as this dog. He never gets enough. And whatever it is that programmed that dog, whatever's in that dog's heart to just love fetch so much, just loves it. There's something in me that also is akin to that with praise and worship. It's in me. I love it, and it's internally rewarding. I'm like a dog that loves to play fetch. I can't explain why. It's just in me. No explanation. So I definitely fall more in the submit world, but there's a lot of debate. So maybe instead of New Age and Christian, I should just start calling it the submit versus the non-submits. I understand the arguments both ways. I don't mind people commenting about it both ways. It's just that's where I am. That's where I kind of see it. I'm definitely not a good Christian. I get tossed out of the Bible studies and youth groups real easily. By the way, I have been seeing people quote "where two or more gather in my name" so much in the last few months. I mean, not just at church, but just in the world and on videos and people. I mean, Christian videos. I'm hearing people always say this, "where two or more gather in my name." Totally not in the Bible now, but I just think it's funny when every time I get that or come across that, I chuckle, because it's like this shouldn't be, but a lot of people don't see any big deal there. Anyway, wanted to share this, get your thoughts. Do you think in 2024 that the currency is going to be gone? And if it is gone, might have to relook at these other predictions this person has to say in the video. If it isn't gone, they could always say, "Oh, well, that was a different timeline." That's the sad thing about these predictions. Somebody could say, "Oh, that was a potentiality in reality, but it just didn't happen, for whatever reason." One of the big theories with the Mandela effect is CERN. Remember when CERN was making their big Hadron Collider, whatever reality you remember that from, when they were building that thing around 2008, everyone was saying this thing's dangerous. This is science we shouldn't be embarking upon because it could destroy our world. They are literally creating black holes, and one could be out of control and suck us all in. I even saw a guy in an interview from CERN saying that there's a 1 in 8 possibility that a runaway black hole could occur and suck in the earth. And I'm thinking, when he's saying that, I was like, so why are you doing it? Why are we going forward with this? They're saying the same thing now about AI, that AI has this great potential to wipe out humanity. Same thing. So one of the theories with the Mandela effect is that CERN did open up a black hole. It took our Earth and wiped us out. And there's some overpowering system that reset the whole system, launched us all into this matrix, which is slightly different than the old matrix. We don't have the thick ice cap at the polar north anymore. We don't have the dash between the Kit Kat. Chick-fil-A lost the K, stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of interesting that all these little changes, and they say that's just a product of humanity being launched from one wiped out existence and thrown into another. Just an idea. And while I'm here, I wanted to respond to a few comments. I know this is a hodgepodge video. Michael said, "This is new to me," talking about the Kellogg's Corn Flakes with the K, C-K-O-R-N, K-O-R-N. This is new to me, but it doesn't surprise me. After all the spelling differences I have seen, in some dimensions I come from an Oscar Mayer with the E dimension. In some dimensions it was M-Y-E-R or M-A-Y-E-R. So now it's M-A-Y-E-R. This one reminded me when he talked about that like really bad spelling where it gets down to almost nothing. I saw this too back in late 2016, 2017, I was seeing reality. I was jumping around, and there were sometimes the spellings would just get so abbreviated. There would be like 3 or 4 realities where the spelling would get reduced down to nothingness. Like it was just like people were too dumb to think of anything more complicated, or it was just a very shortened. Everything was just shortened, and I saw that like Cocoa Puffs, and that's actually a flip flop. Cocoa Puffs went from what it is now, the cocoa puffs, to cocoa, just C-O-C-O, and then it flip-flopped back again. But I thought that cocoa made more sense, the C-O-C-O, and it was quicker and cleaner. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a reality out there that I didn't see where it was K-O-K-O. It would fit with all the K's. But just wanted to I remember Hanna-Barbera, it was Hanna-Barbera, so it just abbreviated down. Vicks lost its K. And then Shia LaBeouf, that spelling changed where the F on the end dropped, the la dropped in one, so it was just Shia Bow for me in one reality. It bounced around. So this Mike also says, apparently another version of myself already liked this channel. Interesting. I'm not surprised. I've met other versions of myself in some dimensions. Interesting. I'm from a dimension where things were different. I've been moving dimensions since 2017 and then more since 2018. One difference I noticed recently was the Jetsons Halloween episode. In some dimensions, it's about robotic vampire teeth. In these dimensions, it's about orbidity costumes. If you watch one Jetsons episode, George says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." Yeah, that one just keeps popping up too. And I thought about, when he mentioned that, I thought about how, yeah, there's little variations in focus and themes. There can be theme differences. I've seen theme differences in Bible, Mandela effects. Jacob Israel actually had a few of those too, where he did a Bible study on one thing and one theme, and then it changed. The whole theme changed in that section of the Bible. I saw that in Genesis chapter 1, where for a while, woman was the height of creation. That was the thing that God looked back and said was very good, was the creation of the woman. And for me, that was a potential Mandela effect, because I was like, I've either missed that for 50 some years, and being a Bible major, I should not have missed it. So I think this has changed. I said that back then. I even did a video, and I think that got wiped out when it flip-flopped, but it flip-flopped back. So now God is very pleased with all he created. The woman is no longer the central theme, but I remember in that reality seeing people, there were articles and commentaries and recaps of Genesis chapter 1 and how the woman was the theme, the height, the number one greatest thing of Genesis chapter 1 and creation. That changes everything when it changes from that, the main point of Genesis chapter 1 being the creation of the woman, and now it's switched back to just being the creation of everything. I don't know. So just like he's saying in a Jetsons episode, the main topic of it, or the point, changes on them. So I wanted to comment on that. All right, so I guess that's my quick summary. I actually have more time to listen to videos and do these videos than I expected with this new job. Although I'm working at a lot of hours, this is what you might call a BS job. There's just a lot of busy work, but there's not a lot that anybody really does. There's no real great contribution to mankind or society. This is just busy work. And this is busy work to the extreme. Now, I'm very thankful for having it. Best pay I've ever had, actually. But I can see thousands of people around me, if they're in the same shoes, they are just wage slaves to a BS job. That's what it is. I mean, this is time change weekend. You would not believe the amount of emails and busy work and double checking that has gone about. I mean, crazy amounts of emails and conversation about making sure that all the microwaves are set back an hour. I mean, I kid you not. That's tons of human effort. We had to have somebody come in this weekend to specifically do that. I've had to go inspect all this stuff. There's been 4 or 5 emails sent out to hundreds of people confirming that it's been done. It's like if somebody finds a microwave where the time was not changed this weekend, the world comes to an end. I mean, that's how over exaggerated these people are in this world. I get hundreds of emails every day. Most of them are meaningless. There's no reason to even for me to be getting them. I tried to filter them out, but every time I try different filters, it still inevitably leads me to filtering out one that's important, because there's no consistency in the rules, and I can't. So of the 100 emails that I get every day, the busy work here is I have to look through them, because heaven forbid I get one of those that's important that applies to me. And if I don't act on that, then I'm like, the world comes to, it's just like the microwave. The microwave doesn't get its time changed. Well, if I miss that important thing, I'm in super hot water. It's crazy busy work. It comes down to control, how the world needs to control. These people at the very top need to control our lives. We can't just enjoy life like we should be able to. We can't just do that. They've got to control us. They've got to pin us down. But all this meaningless busy work means that I have time to walk around and do a lot of meaningless, brainless activities and listen to videos while I'm doing it. So I'm actually, actually got a lot of free time on my hand, even though it's at work, at the job, a lot of time at the job, but it's meaningless work. It's funny that some of the most meaningful jobs that I did, like being a teacher, that was the least respect and least pay. So like there's a rule of opposites in this reality, where what should be getting the most is getting the least. And Jesus even said that the least, the opposite rule, whatever the opposite is in this world, that seems to be the truth of it. So the most important jobs are getting the least respect, least pay, and the BS jobs are just getting paid way too much. A lot of waste, a lot of messed up things in this reality. But I think at that, I'm going to call this video done. And if you get a chance, check out this little video. I'll put the link below, and let me know your thoughts. All right. God bless.